Next thing we'll move on to Diksha. Diksha, what part of the reading list are you bringing up today?
I have this. I'll be discussing this part called language and advertising, especially in the field of say mottos and taglines. So that.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so this part of the reading list, which talks about language, especially its usage on television and advertisement, is something that completely interested me because advertisements play such an important role, especially I think recently with the starring of Neeraj Chopra in Cred, it has led to a whole new level of interest in advertising for me personally. So yeah, let's begin with the topic. So while I was researching about advertisement and the whole gamut of things that are involved in it, I wanted to know how big this industry is, and I was stunned to know that it is around 177 billion US dollars globally, which if we look at in terms of scale, you could compare that to say the list of national economies around the world. So according to the IMF, if you look at the economies of the country, the GDP, you'll see that the global advertising industry has a turnover that is more than say 155 countries around the world. So that is how big the revenue of the advertising industry is. Now coming to language, let's start from where Muskan left. She left at this very interesting note where she said that does language influence our thought? And this principle is the basis of advertising and the usage of language. So basically, the usage of language in advertising is premised on the basis called the Wolffian hypothesis. So the Wolffian hypothesis basically states it's a branch of psycholinguistics, which basically merges psychology and linguistics. So it says that language affects our cognition, and a part of cognition is a consumer behavior. So the way words are presented to you, the way actors or models speak those words affect how you perceive that ad or how you perceive that product. It also says that it is impossible to discuss or promote anything without the use of language. And most importantly, the most confusing part of this hypothesis is that people who speak different languages perceive the same language in the ad differently. So let's discuss this Wolffian hypothesis further, and let's leave it to the debaters, especially to discuss this further. Let's dive into the recent advertising trends going on. So before we begin, let's play a little game where I'll be pitching in some taglines and you will all have to guess which brands they could belong to. All right?
Okay. Is this a buzzer round? How do we win? How does one win in this game?
You will have to just scream, like open your mic and scream. Okay, that's the only fair way to conduct this. Okay.
Lovely.
So the first tagline, it will be the easiest one of this, which is just do it. Which brand is this?
Nike.
Nike, right. Okay.
Was I supposed to name first?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So let's discuss how this tagline came about. So surprisingly and very unethically, this tagline belongs to a convicted murderer in the United States called Gary Gilmore. Gary Gilmore. He was a convicted murderer who just before his execution was asked if he had any last wish, and to that he replied, "Let's do it." So the company who branded this Nike tagline admitted that they had taken this tagline from that person. We do not know why, and I could not find any explanation for it, but I think it just embodies that spirit of how the sport and kind of crime have this thing called let's do it. Let's not think and just dive into it. Okay. Looking through Gary Gilmore's eyes. Second for you to guess is the man your man could smell like.
Old Spice?
Right, that's right, Chandrika. It is Old Spice.
Look down, back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell.
And this is one of my favorite ads because this is when this tagline came at a very critical juncture of the company. So the company was losing its sales to companies like Axe. Axe was forming its base among the younger population who had just started to earn, while Old Spice had become this thing of the past used by 60-year-old, 40-year-old males. So they wanted to expand their sales, like form a new customer base, and they hired this actor, and it came to be one of the top, one of say the best campaigns of the 21st century, where this man, I think he was black by ethnicity, he was hired, he was a model, he was hired, and he starts the ad, even though Old Spice is a male product, they advertise male products. The ad begins with the actor saying, "Hello, ladies," and then goes on to build a premise, and then says, "The man your man could smell like." So I think this is a very, very intelligent advertising strategy, in the sense that the company surveyed and found out that 60% of the body wash purchases, including that of men and women, were made by women. So basically, the body wash choice of men were being probably made by their mothers or partners. So in order to capture that female buyer base, they targeted the ad not towards the men who had to actually use the product, but towards women who were buying it for them. So I think it's one of the greatest strategies. And then this campaign led to a 30% sale increase and finally, expansion of customer base. So it's one of my favorite ads. And then, one more, which is a very, very interesting ad. This is for you to guess again. Because you're worth it.
L'Oreal.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody knows this. It's by L'Oreal. And honestly, while studying advertisements and language, I had this notion that beauty brands have a certain kind of taglines, and sports brands have some other kind of taglines, because they embody different spirits because of different customer base. However, while reading this, a lot of analysis on L'Oreal taglines had this statement that these taglines of the L'Oreal brand were in fact feminist. So I started to read how, and I came across this one ad, I think it's only a year old, where they had taken models around the world, had not put much makeup, they were in their no makeup look, and had advertised and had clearly stated that how, for women, beauty is power. And just like power, they must take their beauty in their own hands. And they, can take charge of their beauty at any age, with any skin color, etc. So the idea of beauty, which in most of our views is quite disempowering for women, has been used as a method of empowerment by L'Oreal in their ad campaigns.
We are not a beauty brand. We are a brand that gives power to women, no matter the age or the color of their skin. This is why when we say, "We're worth it,"
so they clearly state that, beauty and you're worth it is not our tagline. While it is, they state that it is not our tagline, it is our brand mission. So that use of language where they refute what actually it is, that is their tagline, they tend to make a stronger statement that for women, beauty can be empowering. That. And surprisingly, L'Oreal, which is a beauty brand, could have used a lot of sexual innuendos, but they didn't. On the other hand, I came across this Burger King ad. I do not know which year it is from, but it features, I think, a hot dog or a hamburger and a woman with her mouth open. And the caption reads, and you should pay attention to it. It's a funny and sexually charged caption. It says, "Blow one and swallow." This is one of the campaigns. And the second says, "4 inches has never been so satisfying." So despite being a food brand, which could have used, any tagline in the world, they chose to use a woman with a hot dog and use this sexually charged tagline to advertise something as frivolous as a burger. So contrary to my notion that, beauty brands could exploit sexual taglines, it is food brands that could do so. And probably beauty brands have nothing to do with disempowerment or using sexual innuendos. Any thoughts on that? Any of those campaigns that you found highly empowering or highly disempowering?
I read about the L'Oreal campaign in Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. The woman, her name was Elon Specht. and she was just 23. She was a copywriter. That means she wasn't making much money. She was trying to make ends meet in New York City, and she was being faced by rampant sexism in the workplace since a very long time. So yeah, she came up with that. I think if you guys go and read it over there, you'll even find some New York Times articles about it, because Gladwell is a columnist for the New York Times as well. Very, very fascinating. Even at that time, I thought it was very interesting how she came up with it. Because You're Worth It was an absolute rejection of you are not enough, which is what was the prevailing trend at that time. So I thought that was absolutely insane. Also, the Nike Just Do It thing, I think that's amazing. Yeah, and it also tells us a lot. Also, sports and crime, the man who brought both those two things together, O.J. Simpson. But yeah, but all things apart, yeah, other advertising things that you guys, let's talk about right now, and let's talk about India for a second. What are some advertising taglines and lines and advertisements and all that were absolutely interesting to were, I don't know if you guys remember this, Action ka school time. Yeah, मस्ती पीटी हो गई, घंटी बज गई, हो गई छुट्टी, oh ho school time. So I think that is something that was very, even woogly woogly whoosh, googly woogly
Yeah.
whoosh for Pond Scream. I know when we were kids, we used to think, wow, मतलब कि खरीद के लाओ ना, Pond Scream best होता है, हम सबको लगता था. And about sexual advertisements, I don't know if you guys have ever used Liril soap. It's a great soap, but they actually broke this thing for Indian advertising when it comes to sexualizing. Because it smelled great, it was a great soap, but Pond's ad was more a woman coming out of the shower in a towel and just talking about her fair skin and stuff like that. In Liril, there was a woman dancing on a rock in Goa and rubbing the Liril all over herself. So that's just been an old hack that all advertisers have been using. You spoke about Axe. We've been making fun of it for so long. Whenever you see a guy with the Axe deodorant in his bag, that means at some point he was 13 and he saw the Axe ad where the guy is running away from a crowd of women. And he thought, ये आदमी कितना बेवकूफ है, मैं Axe का deodorant खरीदूंगा और मैं नहीं भागूंगा क्योंकि मैं हूँ असली genius.
Yeah, the chocolatey boy wala ad, right?
Yeah.
The boy was, हाँ मतलब वो boy को ये ऐसे chocolate बनाते थे. And even that Mountain Dew डर के आगे जीत है. They are very fascinating ads.
That's
I love
amazing.
their ads.
Yeah.
I have one. You know how whenever you turn the TV on या फिर वो कुछ ताज की चाय पत्ती का ad. Oh yeah. Wow.
One of my favorites.
I have been to so many houses. I've been to so many places. I've never seen someone using Taj ki chai patti, but only when it's supposed to be something royal or something. That's because the ad and the way that they portray it in the ad, it seems so royal that only like it should be served in, you know, like we're sitting at a palace or something, or we're at a ball, or like we're among kings and queens, and then it's being poured to us by someone else and we're just drinking it, not even like we're drinking it like this. It sounds so extravagant. So that Wah Taj wali line, it's been used so many times as a joke, and even it's like associated itself to something royal.
Yeah.
Wow, Taj.
Even the person they chose for the ad was Ustad Zakir Hussain, right? So he had this, he was wearing this sherwani type of thing and like long locks. He looked only like a very rich man.
Yeah, it's the epitome of Indian royals because they're taking up like Indian classical geniuses and legends. Like even now, if Ustad Zakir Khan is not there, there's someone else. There's like I remember watching a classical dancer, I think a Kathak dancer in the ad now. And I'm like, they're just situating it with that. Just like a royal Indian, you know, chai patti brand.
You need to train yourself in classical dance and music in order to have tea.
Speaking of Indian royals, how about Rajni Gandha? मुंह में रजनीगंधा,
How about
कदमों में
Vimal
दुनिया.
Pan Masala?
कदमों में, yeah,
कदमों में दुनिया,
exactly.
मुंह में रजनीगंधा. They made a whole ad where the guy buys the East India Company. And have you guys seen that ad? Kadmon mein duniya. They can take that and attach it to like nationalism and patriotism and stuff. And yeah,
Talking about nationalism and patriotism, how about Patanjali?
oh, all right. No
Yeah.
comments.
Wait, I got one more. You know how whenever Diwali is around the corner, there is that one ad of Pataka brands that always comes, and it only comes around Diwali time. That bada 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 das, I hear bus bus das, and it's just two kids like flying around. You've never seen that ad?
No, we care about the environment, so we don't
We
pay
don't watch
attention. But okay.
No, it's so famous. You are the first group of people who have never seen this ad. I have asked this to almost every other person because it fascinates me how it always comes around this particular time, and it has left such a big impact because everyone knows it by their heart that okay, this ad is coming up to Diwali wali feels aa rahi hai puri proper.
I have one more, Cadbury celebrations. Like I
Yes.
remember as a kid, it was my like dream to have this Cadbury celebration box as a gift. Like the way they shows it, amazing. Yeah, so very fascinating.
I know it's.
Also-
Huh.
I wish we could do something like that for Behest. But yeah, moving on.
Also, it was really fascinating to see how ads change over time. You know, they change their whole language according to the changing trends, especially changing social trends. So right now, if you recall Bonvita ads, they always talk about how, you know, mothers are preparing their kids for bigger ambitions of life, sports, education, and how children are then offering the Bonvita cup to their mothers because their mothers aren't taking enough iron or calcium, things like that. So it kind of shows how nutrition, education, sports, all these big ambitions in life need a cup of Bonvita. But this old ad, I guess it's from the 50s or 60s, I think. It's in a black and white poster, and we'll show it here on the screen. It's a Bonvita ad. It's written in Hindi, and it says, पति की खुशी आपकी खुशी है और आप अपने पति को हमेशा खुश और तंदुरुस्त देखना चाहती हैं, इसलिए बॉर्नवीटा दे basically. And it goes on to talk about Patni Dharma, etc. And so it was really fascinating because I could never imagine something like Bonvita, you know, advertising on how women should keep their husbands happy and hence give them Bonvita. Because for me, Bonvita is like a really cool drink that children drink. And it's supposed to be given by mothers to their kids. But whether it was supposed to be given by wives to their husbands, that was something new for me. So I think language in advertising changes very, very quickly with emerging social trends, because if they published this kind of ad today, they would have faced a lot of backlash probably. But back then it was something acceptable.
Just to close this discussion, a lot of the like creatives that you see in India, मतलब राइटर बनना चाहने वाले बहुत लोग होते हैं जो कॉमेडियन बनना चाहते हैं, बहुत लोग होते हैं जो कुछ और करना चाहते हैं, पर वो सारे आधे से ज्यादा लोग तुमको एडवर्टाइजिंग में मिलेंगे, because that is truly one of the places where language skills and creativity can meet and pay you at the same time. So yeah, I mean, like a lot of the people who in India are some of the top creatives have been or are in the advertising field. There are lots of examples, like if you've heard of the comedian Neville Shah, he's the creative director of Ogilvy, which is an ad making company. Prasoon Joshi also, I believe. A lot of these guys have been ad makers in the past, and basically that's one place where some of the most creative people can be creative and make some money at the same time. So yeah.
That's rare.
Yeah, that is very rare. A lot of us have been looking for a long time. Nahi milta kuch bhi. But this has been there for a long time.
Can I say just one more thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, about what Deeksha said, I think it's very interesting to see how, you know, they target the audience, and it's not meant for all audiences, right? So when it comes to Bonvita, it's only a mother giving the Bonvita to the child. It's never shown as a father. when it's a Tide ka ad, when it's a Harpic ka ad. ठीक है, Harpic में a man is coming, but it's still a woman who's like, oh my god, it will solve all my problems. So I feel that feminism का थोड़ा सा aspect, that is something very interesting when it's in, you know, advertisements and trying to reach that particular audience, that how easily it becomes about targeting not just all audience but about, you know, gender specific audiences as well. I think that's very interesting as well.